The jungle was silent, except for the wind moving through the tall trees. Strange birds made sharp clicking sounds, and glowing insects floated near the thick vines. The planet was wild, untouched by machines. Only one human walked their errand. Blake. He was a mapmaker, sent by Earth's Alliance to explore this remote planet. His job was simple: walk, scan, record, and report. No people, no danger war, so the report said. But that day, something changed. Aaron had just finished scanning. A small valley when he froze. His ears twitched. A sound sharp high and filled with pain cut through the forest. A scream. Not an animal, not a machine. A voice. Aaron dropped to one knee, holding his breath. Another scream came. Then another. Closer this time, his heart began to race. Sounded like a girl. She was crying, screaming, begging. His hand moved to his belt. No weapons, just a small stun stick and scanner. He wasn't a soldier. But he couldn't ignore it. He took a deep breath and moved. The jungle was thick. Every step was slow. Twigs snapped under his boots. He kept low, crouching behind thick roots and tall ferns. The screams guided him like a terrible map. After 10 minutes, he smelled something in the air: smoke and burnt flesh. He crawled forward, pushing aside a wall of leaves, and then stopped. In the middle of a small clearing, he saw fire. A large bonfire burned bright. Around it, strange tribal aliens danced and howled. Their skin was rough, like cracked stone, with glowing green markings across their faces and arms, and tied above the fire was a girl. She was hanging from a wooden spit, her arms and legs tied tightly. Her skin was silver blue, glowing slightly. Her long white hair was dirty, hanging over her face. Her body twisted in pain, and her eyes were wide with fear. The aliens shouted in their deep, clicking language. One of them turned the spit. The girl screamed again. Aaron's hands shook. His brain screamed to run. This wasn't his mission. This wasn't his fight, but he couldn't leave her. He looked around. No weapons, no help, just him. He spotted a rock nearby. His eyes narrowed. He took a breath, picked it up, and threw it into the jungle on the other side of the camp. Crack. The aliens all turned. They shouted, pointing toward the noise. Aaron didn't wait. He rushed forward like lightning, sliding on the dirt. He pulled out his stun stick and slammed it into the ropes holding the girl. Sparks flew. The rope broke. The girl dropped into his arms, her body burning hot. One alien saw them. It roared. Others turned and charged. Aaron didn't stop. He lifted the girl over his shoulder and ran into the jungle. Branches cut his face. His lungs burned. The girl groaned softly. Behind him, the aliens screamed. Crashing through the trees, Aaron slid down a hill, nearly falling into a mud pit. He kept running, heart pounding, sweat pouring down his back. He heard water ahead. He pushed through the last trees and saw a river, fast. Wild, he jumped. The cold water wrapped around them. The current pulled them under. He held the girl close, kicking. Upward they came up, gasping for air. The river dragged them far. The alien voices disappeared behind the rushing water. After minutes, they reached a rocky shore. Aaron crawled out, pulling the girl beside him. She was barely moving. Her skin was burnt. Her breathing was weak. He looked down at her face. She was beautiful, even in pain. But her eyes were empty. No, 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 he whispered. He placed his fingers on her neck. No pulse. He started CPR, pressing on her chest, counting loudly. Come on, come on. He breathed into her mouth, pressed again, then again, and again. Seconds felt like years. Then she coughed. Water came from her mouth. She gasped and opened her eyes. Aaron sat back, shaking. "You're alive," he whispered. She looked at him, confused. Her lips moved, but no words came out. He smiled, tears in his eyes. "It's okay. You're safe now." The girl reached out with a shaking hand and touched his face. Then she whispered one soft word in her alien tongue and fainted. Aaron looked around. Night was coming fast. The jungle was not safe. He stood up, still holding her. He didn't know who she was or why she was tied to that fire. But one thing was clear. He had just made powerful enemies and saved a life that might change everything. Aaron's boots sank into the muddy ground as he carried the alien girl through the jungle. Her body was cold now, even though she had been burning hot before. Her breathing was shallow, her silver blue skin pale. The moonlight filtered through the trees, casting strange shadows all around them. The firelight from the tribal camp was still glowing behind them, and the war drums had started. They knew she was gone, and they were coming. Aaron didn't stop. He held her tight, one arm under her back, the other beneath her legs. She was too light, bones and bruises under thin skin. She needed help. She needed shelter. She needed time to heal, but time was the one thing he didn't have. A strange howl echoed through the trees. Then another. The sounds weren't like wolves, but something worse. Alien, angry. Hunting, he ducked behind a thick tree trunk, trying to catch his breath. He looked down. The girl's head rested against his chest. Her white hair was wet, sticking to her skin. Her eyes were closed, but her lips trembled like she was trying to speak in her dreams. He whispered, "Just hold on, please." Suddenly, movement in the bushes behind him. Snap. Crunch. Aaron turned, his eyes scanning the darkness. Then he saw them. 3 tribal hunters, one tall, one wide, one crawling on all fours, merged from the trees. Their bodies were covered in war paint. Their eyes glowed green. They sniffed the air like beasts. One of them growled. Aaron ran. Branches whipped his face. Roots tried to trip him. But he didn't slow down. The girl moaned softly in his arms. But he couldn't stop. Not now. The ground ahead sloped down. The river they had come from it earlier. But this time, the water was louder, faster, more dangerous. He reached the edge of the cliff and looked down. A deep drop. Sharp rocks. But below that, safety. If he could reach the river, the current might carry them far from the hunters, or it might kill them both. Behind him, the hunters roared. He took one step back, then another. "I really hope you can swim," he whispered, and jumped. Wind roared in his ears. The girl's body pressed tighter against his. Then splash. Freezing. Water hit like stone. The current pulled them under, spinning, twisting. Aaron held on, refusing to let go. He kicked hard, rising to the surface. Gasping, the girl wasn't breathing again. "No, no." He muttered, pulling her to the edge of a mossy rock. He climbed out of the water with her limp body and lay her down. The hunters didn't follow. They stood above the cliff, watching with glowing eyes. But they wouldn't jump. The river scared them. Aaron was safe. For now, he quickly checked her pulse. Faint but there, her body shivered uncontrollably. She needed warmth. Fast, Aaron spotted a small rock cave just a few meters away. He dragged her inside, laid her gently on the dry ground, and stripped off his wet jacket. He wrapped it around her. Then, carefully, he started a fire with his emergency lighter. The flames danced slowly, giving a soft orange glow in the cave. He placed his hands over her, trying to warm her chest. Minutes passed. Then she coughed again. A small, painful sound, but it was hope. She opened her eyes barely. Her lips moved. He leaned close. She whispered, "Why?" He frowned. Why? What? She tried to lift her hand. It fell back. Her voice cracked. Why? Help me. Aaron sat beside her and stared into the fire. He didn't have a good answer. He had come to this planet to scan rocks, not save girls from monsters. I heard you scream, he said softly. And I couldn't leave you there. Silence. Then she whispered again. You are not. One of them? Aaron smiled weakly. Nope, definitely not. She nodded once, then closed her eyes again. Aaron fed more twigs into the fire. He stayed. Awake the whole night, watching her breathe in the early morning light. She stirred. She was a little stronger now. Her eyes stayed open longer. She drank water from his canteen. Still couldn't sit up. But she looked at him like she was trying to understand him. Aaron looked back at her and said gently, I don't know your name, but I need to call you something. She blinked. Zyara, she whispered. He nodded. Zyara, I'm Aaron. She struggled to sit, her body shaking. No, don't force yourself, he said, moving to her side. But she grabbed his sleeve. Her fingers cold and weak. They will come. They will not stop, she said. They will burn. Everything. Aaron looked into her eyes. He believed her. They weren't just hunters. They were fanatics. And Zyara, whatever she truly was too important to them. Aaron stood up, staring into the forest beyond the cave. He wasn't just running anymore. Now he had to fight. The cave was quiet, except for the crackle of dying fire. A soft wind moved outside, pushing leaves gently across the ground. But inside the cave, Aaron sat awake, staring at the girl he had rescued, Zyara. She slept, her chest rising and falling. Slowly, her skin looked less pale now, the faint blue color returning to her face. Her hair, though still dirty, had dried in soft waves across her cheeks. She looked peaceful, but also fragile. Aaron checked the scanner in his hand. Her body temperature was climbing back to normal. Her pulse was stronger, still weak, but alive. He couldn't understand it. By all logic, she should have died. She had been tied above fire, beaten, nearly drowned. And yet here she was, breathing, fighting to live. Aaron whispered to himself, You're tougher than you look. As he stared, her eyes slowly opened. She blinked a few times and turned her head toward him. You stayed? She asked, voice still low. Aaron smiled. Yeah, you didn't exactly give me an address to send you home. Zyara didn't laugh. Instead, she looked at the cave walls, then back at him. They always said, no one would help me. No one would care. Aaron tilted his head. Who are they? My people, she said, looking down at her hands. Or, they used to be. He waited quietly. Zyara continued. When I was born, they whispered I had a sickness. But I was not sick. I was different. Different? How? She lifted one hand and held it toward the dying fire. For a second, nothing happened. Then a tiny flame danced above her palm, small, like a candlelight. But real. Alive. Aaron leaned forward in shock. Zyara pulled her hand back quickly, breathing hard. They called it a curse. They feared me. Said I would bring ruin. So they kept me hidden then. One day, the tribal chief told my mother he would cleanse the village. Aaron's eyes narrowed. They tried to kill you. She nodded. I escaped once, but they found me again. This time, they didn't wait. Silence filled the cave for a moment. Aaron looked away, his hands tightening into fists. People fear what they don't understand, he said softly. But what they did to you, it's evil. Zyara turned her face toward him again. Why are you helping me? He didn't answer right away. His thoughts drifted to Earth. How people there called him odd, too quiet, too emotional for a soldier, too reckless for a scientist. Because, he said finally, I know what it's like to be unwanted. I know how it feels when people pretend you don't belong." Zyara didn't speak, but her lips trembled slightly. After a while, she whispered, "Thank you, Aaron." He gave her a small nod. That afternoon, she tried to stand. She placed one foot on the ground and pushed herself up with his help. Her knees shook like dry leaves in the wind. "You don't have to rush," he said. "I must," she replied. "They will come. You have to leave me behind." He stared at her. "Not happening." Zyara looked shocked. "But I am a target. I will slow you down." Aaron stepped closer. "If they find you again, they'll kill you. And I didn't risk my life to let that happen now." Zyara opened her mouth, but no words came out. Instead, her eyes filled with tears. She hadn't cried before, not when she was tied above fire, not even when she was running for her life. But now, hearing someone choose her, protect her, she broke. Aaron didn't know what to do. So, he gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "You're not alone anymore," he said softly. The next morning, Aaron helped Zyara walk. They moved slowly through the jungle, keeping low. Aaron guided her toward the signal beacon he had placed. Days ago, hoping it still worked, Zyara leaned against him, her legs still weak. As they walked, she whispered, "My name. It means hope in my language." Aaron smiled. "That fits." She looked at him. "What does your name mean?" He chuckled. "Trouble, probably." A faint smile touched her lips, but their peace didn't last long. A loud noise cracked through the jungle. Not tribal drums this time, but something else. A mechanical hum. A pulse. Aaron grabbed Zyara and pulled her behind a thick tree. A glowing drone flew overhead, scanning the ground with red lights. Zyara whispered, "That is not from the tribe." Aaron nodded. "It's a tracker. Military grade." Then, who sent it? He didn't know, but one thing was clear: someone else was searching for Zyara, not to save her, to capture her. He turned to her. "Can you move faster?" She nodded, fear in her eyes. Aaron tightened his grip on his scanner and whispered, "Then let's go." They moved silently through the thick undergrowth, the jungle alive with strange sounds. Birds with glowing feathers cried from the branches, and the air smelled of moss and wet earth. Aaron stayed alert, holding his stun baton in one hand, guiding Zyara with the other. She leaned on him, but walked on her own, now shaky, slow, but stronger than before. The memory of the drone still burned in Aaron's mind. It wasn't tribal. It wasn't wild. It was made by someone who understood advanced tech, someone who wanted Zyara. But why? As they pushed through the vines, Zyara suddenly stopped. "This way," she whispered, pointing to a narrow trail. Aaron paused. "You know this place?" She nodded. "There is an old cave system nearby. My people used it during the wars. It's hidden. Safe." Aaron followed her lead. Her steps were light, quiet, even graceful. She might have been weak in body, but she moved with purpose now, like something had returned to her. Confidence, memory, power. After about 20 minutes, they reached a small hill covered in green vines. Zyara brushed them aside, revealing a dark crack in the rock. They ducked inside. The tunnel was tight, damp, and cold. Their footsteps echoed softly as they walked deeper. After several turns, they entered a small chamber. The ceiling was high. Carvings lined the walls, strange symbols and alien drawings, lit faintly by glowing moss. Aaron looked around in awe. "What is this place?" Zyara moved toward the carvings and placed her hand gently on one of the symbols. It lit up under her touch. "This is history," she whispered. "My tribe once worshipped the stars. They believed that power came from above, from beings who could shape nature with their hands. Aaron stepped closer. Like you. She turned. Yes and no. I was born different, but I wasn't the first. Long ago, there were others. Starborn, they were called. People who could control light, fire, plants, even time. Aaron frowned. But what happened to them? The tribe feared them, she said quietly. They said the gifts were dangerous, that they invited destruction. So they erased their names, burned their homes, and buried their stories. Aaron stared at the glowing wall. So they turned legends into monsters. Zyara nodded. I knew what I was. She moved to another wall and brushed dust off a carving. It showed a figure surrounded by fire, standing over a group of kneeling aliens. But above that another symbol, a strange circle split by a line. Aaron leaned closer. What's that? Zyara hesitated. It's a warning. When the Starborn rise again, sky will bleed. He raised an eyebrow. Sounds dramatic. It's not just a story, she said. My mother believed this symbol was not a curse, but a prophecy. She said someone would come, not from our world. Someone who would protect the fallen and bring light again. Aaron froze. His voice dropped. You think that's me? Zyara smiled faintly. You followed the screams. You didn't run. You saved me. You carry no power. But you have something else, he scoffed. Just dumb luck and a bad sense of danger. She stepped closer. No, you have something stronger choice. My people are bound by fear, but you chose to stand against it. Aaron didn't know what to say. Then a sudden rumble shook the ground. Zyara's eyes widened. They found us. The stone near the entrance cracked. Dust fell from above. Aaron grabbed his stun baton. Is there another way out? Zyara nodded and led him deeper into the tunnel. The glow faded as they moved. The air grew colder. Aaron could barely see, but Zyara moved confidently. They reached a narrow split in the rock. She touched the wall, and with a strange hum, it slid open an old hidden door. They stepped out into a small valley, far from the hill. The sky was turning red, sunset. They climbed to a higher rock and looked back. Smoke rose from the jungle. Several drones hovered in the distance, scanning the hill. Aaron clenched his jaw. They really want you. Zyara stared into the wind. Not just me. What I represent. He looked at her. Then we need to figure out why before they catch us. She nodded slowly, then whispered, there is one place. An ancient ruin. The last place the Starborn were seen. Holds the truth. Aaron smirked. Of course it does. Zyara smiled back. More real this time. Then she added, and one more thing. If we go there, we may not come back. Aaron shrugged. Wouldn't be the first bad decision I've made this week. And together, they disappeared into the fading light, chased by enemies. Led by secrets and driven by a truth older than both of them. The sun had vanished behind the mountains, and darkness covered the alien jungle like a thick blanket. Strange eyes glowed in the trees. The air was cold now. The wind carried sounds, distant growls, rustling leaves, and the low mechanical hum of search drones scanning the forest. Aaron and Zyara moved carefully across the rocky trail, staying low beneath thick ferns and wide alien leaves that smelled like sour fruit. Neither of them spoke much. They didn't need to. The danger behind them had grown louder and closer. Aaron's heart beat hard in his chest. He could feel it. They were being hunted. Zyara placed a hand on a tree, breathing heavily. They've sent more than just drones this time, she whispered. Aaron nodded. I hear footsteps. Multiple. They're tracking us faster than before. Zyara looked down the path ahead. We must reach the ruins before they do. She pointed toward a distant hill, barely visible through the trees. "That's where the old temple is," she said. "The place where the last Starborn disappeared." Aaron frowned. "And you're sure it'll have answers?" Zyara gave a small nod. "It's our only hope." They continued on, moving faster now. Aaron led the way, using his scanner to check for heat signatures. Every few minutes, he caught Flicker's warm bodies moving in the forest. Not animals. Not locals. "Hunters. They've got professional gear," he whispered. "Not just tribal sticks and bones. These guys know what they're doing." Zyara didn't answer, but her steps grew quicker, then dashed suddenly a flash of light behind them. A red beam lit up the trees. A loud click-hum filled the air. A drone had locked onto them. Aaron cursed. "Run!" They bolted through the underbrush. Branches ripped at their arms and faces. The drone followed above, flashing lights and firing small shock darts that hissed as they flew past them. Zyara shouted, "This way," and turned sharply down a steep slope. They tumbled, sliding through wet moss and hitting the ground hard. Aaron groaned but pulled himself up. "You okay?" She nodded, brushing mud from her hair. "We lost the drone. For now." But the sound of feet crashing through the jungle was getting louder. Aaron could feel them. Getting closer, they ran again, pushing through thick plants and dodging glowing insect nests. The air grew warmer, the trees thicker, the trail harder to see. Then they came to a sudden stop. Before them stood a large, broken statue half buried in roots and vines. The face was cracked, but its eyes glowed. "Faint blue," Zyara gasped. "We're close. This is the outer edge of the temple zone." Aaron moved closer to the statue. "Who is this?" "One of the first. A protector," she said. "They say he led the last group of Starborn to safety." Aaron looked at the carving again. A T, the face felt familiar somehow. Not in shape but in expression, strong, calm, human, almost. "We need to go deeper," Zyara said. "The main gate is just beyond the stone path." But before they could move, something crashed through the jungle behind them. A figure stepped out to all, armored, and not tribal at all. It was a mercenary. The armor was matte black, with glowing green lights across the chest. A helmet hid the face. The soldier carried a rifle knot for hunting animals. It was designed for capturing targets alive. Aaron shoved Zyara behind him and raised his stun stick. The mercenary lifted a hand. "Don't move." Aaron didn't listen. He lunged forward, dodging the first shot. The weapon fired a stun burst, barely missing his shoulder. Aaron swung his baton, hitting the man in the chest. The suit sparked. Zyara reached out, eyes glowing faintly. The roots around the mercenary's feet suddenly grew twisting, climbing, grabbing. The soldier struggled as vines pulled at his legs. Aaron took the chance and kicked him backward. The mercenary hit a tree and collapsed. Aaron grabbed Zyara's hand. Now, Ade ran, breathing hard. The jungle opened into a wide clearing. At the center stood the ruined stallstones, fallen walls, and a broken tower stretching into the night sky. Aaron stared in awe. "It's real." Zyara looked around, and it's still alive. The stones glowed softly. Strange symbols moved across the walls like they were breathing. "This place was built with power," she whispered. "It remembers." Aaron turned. "Then let's hope it remembers how to protect us." Suddenly, more lights appeared at the edge of the clearings, 3 more mercenaries, stepping out of the jungle with heavy weapons. Aaron and Zyara were surrounded. She looked up at the tower. "The heart chamber. We must reach it. It's the only way to activate the defense." Aaron didn't question her. They ran toward the ruins as the mercenaries shouted. Bullets flew. Zyara lifted her hands, and the plants responded. Vines rose from the ground, walls of green wrapping around them like shields. Stones shifted, roots exploded from the earth, knocking the soldiers off balance. The ruins came alive. They reached the tower steps. Ziara fell once. Aaron pulled her up. Together, they climbed behind them. The jungle screamed with chaos, gunfire, roars. Crashing drones, but ahead was something ancient, something waiting, something powerful. Asterisk, the stairs inside the tower were broken, slippery and narrow. Every step echoed with danger. Cracked symbols glowed faintly along the stone walls, pulsing slowly, almost like a heartbeat. Aaron helped Ziara up the final steps, her breathing heavy, her hand gripping his arm tightly. When they reached the top, a round chamber opened before them. It was quiet. No vines here. No dust. The walls were smooth and alive with soft blue. Light at the center stood a circular platform, floating inches above the floor. It gave off a low hum like it was waiting. Ziara stepped forward. Aaron followed slowly, looking around. This place feels awake. Ziara nodded. It's the heart of the temple. My mother told me about it. She said only a true starborn can enter. Aaron frowned. So, this is where we learn the big secret. Ziara walked into the center of the room. The platform lit up under her feet. Symbols floated into the air, strange letters and images spinning like a map. Then a deep voice echoed from the walls, soft but powerful. Identity confirmed. Starborn Ziara. Aaron stepped back in shock. Wait, it knows your name. Ziara didn't answer. Her face was calm, focused. It's not just remembering me. It's showing me what I forgot. The floating map changed. A glowing image appeared, a baby held in the arms of a tall, alien woman. Behind her stood tribal warriors, angry, shouting. The baby's eyes glowed with soft light. That's you, Aaron whispered. Ziara nodded. The day I was born. The voice spoke. Again, daughter of Ashira, carrier of the flame, descendant of the first starborn. Aaron blinked. Your mom was a starborn too. Ziara looked down. She was more than that. She was the last queen of the Sky Flame people. When I was born, the flame passed to me. Another image appeared. Ziara as a small girl, touching flowers and making them bloom instantly. Her mother smiling, but around them tribal elders watching with fear and hate. They wanted to use my gift for power. When my mother refused, they called her a traitor and me a curse. Aaron clenched his fists. So they tried to erase you, burn your name from history. Ziara whispered. She hid me in a village far from the capital. She made me promise never to use my gift. She said one day someone would come not to destroy the flame, but to help it burn brighter. The map zoomed out, showing different worlds, stars, battles, then Earth. It pulsed faintly in the corner of the image. Aaron stared. Why is Earth on this? The voice answered. Because the flame was not born on one world. The starborn came from the stars, including Earth. Ziara looked at Aaron. That's why you could hear me. Why you didn't leave me to die? You carry a piece of it too. He shook his head. I don't have powers. You have something stronger, she said. You made a choice. You cared. That's the part of the flame people forget: compassion, mercy, courage. Before Aaron could speak, the platform beneath them shook. A new voice broke through the air, cold, metallic, cruel. Found them. Lock coordinates. Aaron spun around. They've hacked the temple. No, Ziara said. They're inside. The wall behind them exploded. Stone flew in every direction. A tall figure stepped through, the lead mercenary, now helmetless. His face was gray-skinned, with sharp eyes and no hair. Not tribal, not human. He was something else. I knew you'd run here, he said, aiming his weapon. You always chase fairy tales. Aaron moved in front of Zyara. The man laughed. How touching, but pointless. Zyara raised her hand. This is sacred ground. Leave now. The man smirked. You think the temple will protect you? This place is a ruin, and your gift. It's a spark, nothing more. Aaron narrowed his eyes. Then why are you so afraid of it? The mercenary growled. Because sparks become fire, and fire burns kings. He fired his weapon, but before the shot reached them, the symbols on the wall flared with bright light. The air shimmered. A wall of energy blocked the blast. The temple was awake now. The mercenary cursed. Stumbling back, Zyara stepped forward, her hair rising slightly as power flowed around her. This temple holds the truth. And the truth is your fear won't win. She placed her hand on the floating map. The light shot through the room, pushing the enemy out with a blast of energy. The wall repaired itself instantly. Aaron stared. In disbelief, Zyara turned to him, breathing hard. Her eyes glowed gold. The flame isn't just in me, she said. It's in all those who protect, who care, who fight for others. Aaron nodded. Then let's use it. Outside the jungle roared again. Drones, soldiers. The final wave was coming, but now they had the truth, and they had each other. The sky outside the temple had turned blood red. Dark clouds rolled across the heavens like smoke from a burning fire. The jungle below was alive with movement, drones swarming, boots stomping, voices shouting orders in a language Aaron didn't recognize. Inside the ancient tower, the air was still glowing with power. The temple had accepted Zyara. It had awakened for her. But the enemy was closing in. Fast Auron stood by the open archway, peering down the stone steps. In the distance, he could see black-clad mercenaries climbing through the jungle with heavy rifles and energy shields. Drones flew above them, scanning the ruins. We're surrounded, he said quietly. Zyara stood behind him, her eyes calm but sharp. The golden light inside her had grown stronger since the heart of the temple had awakened. She no longer trembled when she walked. She no longer feared what she was. She had become something new, something powerful. They want to crush the flame before it spreads, she said. They always have. Aaron glanced at her. And what do we do? Light the jungle on fire. She smiled slightly. If we must, he nodded. Then I'm with you. To the end. She stepped beside him and gently took his hand. No, she whispered. This is just the beginning. Moments later, the mercenaries stormed the temple steps. The lead soldier, the gray-skinned commander, walked in the center, his weapon aimed forward. Capture them, he ordered. Alive, if possible. But if the girl resists, burn the whole tower. Zyara stepped forward, her hair glowing like soft flames, her voice strong and steady. This temple is alive. And it remembers your crimes. The commander laughed. Remembers myths, nothing more. Zyara raised her hand. The air around her began to shimmer. Suddenly, vines erupted from the cracks on the floor. Roots twisted up from the stone, grabbing weapons and yanking drones from the sky. The mercenaries fired. Energy bolts lit up the temple. But Zyara didn't move. She stood tall, glowing brighter. Her voice echoed. You tried to erase me. You called me a curse. But I am a flame and I will not go out. The temple responded. From the walls, beams of blue light shot out like lightning, striking the ground and pushing back the invaders. The statues in the hallway began to move, stone guardians long asleep. Their eyes lit up. They marched down the stairs, swinging massive arms made of rock. Aaron grabbed his stun baton and ran into the fight. He dodged fire, shocked two mercenaries. and helped Zyara block a rocket with a glowing energy shield she summoned from thin air. They fought side by side, man and Starborn. It was chaos and it was beautiful. The enemy started to fall back. The soldiers panicked. Drones spun out of control. The ground shook with the rage of the awakened temple. The gray-skinned commander roared. Enough. He activated a device on his wrist. A high-pitched sound rang through the air. The temple flickered. The vines shrank back. Zyara cried out in pain, dropping to one knee. "No!" Aaron shouted, running to her side. "What is that? A null field?" she gasped. "It's killing the energy." The commander stepped forward, aiming his weapon at her. "You were never meant to survive. Your flame ends here." He pulled the trigger. Aaron dove in front of Zyara, bracing for the blast, but it never came. A wall of white light exploded between. Then the shot bounced off it and burned into the wall behind. Zyara stood again, eyes glowing like twin stars. Her voice shook the air. "No, you end here." She raised both hands. The temple's light surged. The floating platform in the heart room cracked, and from beneath it, a beam of pure energy burst out, rising into the sky like a signal to the stars. It struck the drone cloud above, disabling them all at once. The mercenary screamed, blinded. The temple floor split open under the commander's feet. He tried to run, but vines grabbed him, pulling him into the earth. His scream faded into silence. Then, stillness. Only the wind remained. Aaron slowly stood up beside Zyara, blinking at the destruction. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded, glowing softer now. "Yes, but it's done." Aaron looked around. The temple was calm again. Safe. He turned to her. "What happens now?" Zyara looked toward the stars. They saw the signal. Others like me. Others who hid their gifts. They'll come. The galaxy will know we're not broken. We're reborn. Aaron smiled. "And me." She looked at him, gently taking his hand. "You? You followed the screams. You found the flame, and you gave it hope." He chuckled. "That's poetic." She smiled. "I'm learning." They stood together at the top of the ancient temple, watching the jungle heal below them. Life would go on. But the story of the Starborn of Zyara and the human who saved her had just begun.